before all of this happened, I don't think I could have imagined that you could be hopeful when your child has a diagnosis that is 100% of the time fatal and that they're going to die in a very short time. And so I think when Emerson had her port put in, the palliative care team came to visit us. And I don't think we knew who they were really. They were just some friendly people that came and wanted to be really nice to us and talk to us. And they did explain who they were. But we didn't understand at the time really the bigger concept of what palliative care is or what a PACT team really does. And so they had asked us about, what our hopes were. And at the time, it seemed kind of like I was confused by that concept. Did you feel?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it just seems like a weird thing to say. Like, what do you hope for? Like, you hope for your kids to grow up and be independent and have great lives, So when you're told that they're going to not live past 3, like, yeah, what does hope mean?
Yeah, and I think at that time when we talked with them, and looking back, it's interesting because we talked at that time a lot about hoping that she didn't suffer and hoping that, when she got more and more sick, that she didn't have pain. And that was all we could really think to, was that she didn't suffer and she didn't endure painful procedures or painful symptoms. And that was really kind of all we said. And then it was a few weeks later or a month later that we met with another palliative care with Dr. McCauley, and Meredith came too. And at that point, I think it had sunk in a little bit more, and we had talked more about, like, what does it mean, like, what does quality of life mean, and what does it mean for her? And I think that we had I shouldn't say we've gotten our feet under us, because we were still really not, we didn't have our feet under us, but we kind of had started to shift our thinking about what her life was going to be, and how, if this is what it is, what are we going to do in this time, and how are we going to do it? And then we also had seen I'd seen and showed you some of the Courageous Parents Network videos. And so when Dr. McCauley came and asked us again the question of, like, well, what do you hope for? I think we had just, I don't know, we just had a different perspective. I don't know if that's the right word.
No, I think, that's absolutely the right word. I don't know, because we had whereas before we had things that our hope was things we were running away from. Hope was things we wanted to avoid. And then as we kind of got more into it, we had kind of more of hope. These are the things that we want. These are the things that we're running towards for Emerson. And so I think it was putting ourselves kind of more in like a driver role about what we wanted for her out of this, not what we didn't want. And I think that was really important for helping us through it, was coming up with what do we want for her.